Yeah, this is
Derek is showing us, what's this called, Zach? This tree.
They call it the tourist tree.
Why is this called a tourist tree, Zach? We disappeared a little bit over the summer, and we still need to get you caught up on that. But that is not what this video is about. We actually took an incredible hike recently at the end of October here with a good friend of ours, Wild Barbados. They're taking you into some of the wild and unexplored parts of Barbados, and we had really a pretty cool experience with that this past week because the kids had term break. So we even did a little staycation, but that'll be separate. What was the name of the hike, Lise? Do you remember?
Hackletons. Hackletons?
Yeah, Hackleton's Giants. Hackleton's Giants.
It was on the East Coast.
Yeah, it was towards the coast, and what it was this amazing rainforest, and it was one of the more natural forests that's still remaining in Barbados that has a lot more of the natural foliage that was here that wasn't introduced to the area. It was really an incredible experience. We learned a lot about the coral of the island because is Barbados coral here?
Yeah. Barbados is coral.
Is it all coral?
Yeah.
See these rocks here? That's coral limestone. This is, thousands of microscopic animals just building on the skeletons of its ancestors, So they create this huge layer, and over millions of years, the island just gets pushed up and pushes a sink. And that's why Barbados is so flat, because Barbados was a coral reef. And because of that, it was very important to the British. Every square inch of it was turned into a sugar farm in a time when sugar was worth more than gold.
So the whole island is actually the cap of a coral reef. So that's why it's always moving. And as you dig down and as you go different places, it's limestone and coral that we see. Preston, did you learn anything about that in school?
No.
About the coral yet?
No.
Not yet? Have you gone to Harrison's Cave?
Yeah.
Was that pretty cool?
Yeah.
Cool.
There are these pointy things looking like they're about to fall on your face and cut through your head. Do you remember what they're called?
Stalagmites.
No.
Stalagmites. Look that up in the dictionary. Stalactites and stalagmites. Now it's in Harrison's Cave. I think we have a video on that already. But you didn't see any of those here. But we went through the what was it called? The monkey jump. Monkey jump. So we went through an area called the monkey jump, and it was a pretty intense hike. Like in one of those hiker books, for those of you that are avid hikers, this would definitely be more on the level of difficulty, kind of on the higher end of difficulty, just for some of the stuff that you have to go through in the front. It's definitely a hike that you'll want to be prepared for in walking through the bush. If you've got any leg and even upper body issues, because getting down the descent in one of the first parts, you need to use your upper body a little bit. But Zach will definitely be able to talk you through some of that. And Zach is who owns Wild Barbados. This is going into the bush right here. And off to the side here is a cliff that just drops off.
It's not gonna be like this for long.
Whew. Don't go to the right. Whatever you do, stay on the trail. OMG, people are coming out of the bush. Super dense. And just like that, it opens up to an actual trail.
We're gonna go in there.
Wait, what?
We're going in there.
There's a giant hole!
Hey, watch out for it.
We're gonna have to climb down! Yes! Yeah, we're climbing into a hole right hard to eat.
Yeah, watch out, guys.
Yeah, all right,
Here we
guys,
go.
Let's do one.
Yeah, that's what life's about, not rushing, man. Take it easy, right?
The rain comes down.
Wow. That's like cow leather.
Yeah.
Goodness.
It smells so fresh.
It does. I know. That's the part you can't experience from video, right? Is the smell and the feel. Just a everyday walk in Barbados. Just going on a little stroll through coral that's separated. We just came out of that. I'm going through that. So we had him. We had a gentleman. We had a gift. We had a gentleman named Derek Went, who was just a here on island. Is a botanist, is just a legend on the island. His wizardry and his knowledge of all of the local plants. You can find him at a lot of the local farmers markets as well, and his kombucha that he hand makes here on island, you'll see that at different supermarkets and stuff. But he happened to join us because he lives on that side, and we got a whole bunch of interesting perspective from him. And then we also had a gentleman named Sky, who really understands the land, the trails of where we're at. This is one of those trails that was all marked, like it had the
orange indicators.
The orange flags have been tied off on the trees or painted, because if not, you could end up
on the right path.
You could easily get
Easy
lost.
to get off path for sure.
Yeah, you could easily get lost in that forest, and that's kind of not what you want to do. So thankfully, they had the trail markers are in there. But Sky is a very, very knowledgeable guide of the land. And what did we do with Sky, Preston? What was one of your favorite things that you got to do on that hike?
Make the fire.
Did you get to make fire? Like learn how to make fire?
He used the lighter, but he cut some of his shirt and then got the lighter out of his pockets, and then he lit his shirt, but first we outlined it with rocks and then we covered it the fire with sticks.
You have to find all the wood, right?
Did you have to go find wood and break wood?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Kira? Did you help with that too?
Yeah, we got to go like break off wood and stuff, and he, like from actual like really big trees, he'd go and he'd pull like all the wood and it'd come down, so he just put it into the fire. But we also got to roast breadfruit. That was really, really fun.
Yeah, so that's what we did. We hiked down from the cliff. There's this whole path that you go through that you'll see in the video, and then we end up getting down in kind of like the floor, I guess the valley of the rainforest, and
It's like you're in the middle of the jungle, basically.
Literally like you're in the middle of the jungle, and we were in the floor in that area, and we found kind of an area to build a fire. The kids had to gather all of the wood, the stones. You guys even built a little table out of rocks, right?
Yeah.
You'll be able to eat the breadfruit on.
Yeah, but the breadfruit, Sky knew, he prepared everything, made the breadfruit, roasted it on the fire, open flame fire, roasted a plantain, cut up some cucumber, some pepper, blended it in, and put this garnish on top of the breadfruit after it was roasted, and it was so good.
And then they found leaves, but they were like as big as actual plates. So we used that as a plate.
Yeah, we didn't take forks or utensils or napkins. It was
Your hands
just
were your utensils.
Your hands are your utensils.
and the breadfruit. You break off the skin of the breadfruit, and you're using that as kind of a spoon to eat, which was really, really tasty. It was really quite an experience.
All right. So I'm gonna go and get the bamboo. Find some little bamboo like this for me. I used to have it in the rock. I used to have it in fire.
Can you look for that, Press?
I'm getting all the rocks.
Okay. I want to get the hair going, then you get the big one going, and the fire on. All right, get some more bigger wood now. Yes.
Don't find big wood.
Some bigger one.
Time to get the bigger wood. We got it started.
We got it, sir. It'd be a more drier one, you know.
Mm-hmm.
The one that might go get wet.
Yeah.
So we're making this fire to be able to roast some breadfruit in the forest.
It's down in the forest, you know.
This is how we do it.
Wow, they're ants.
All right. You cover the broke now some more wood.
So we're gonna get some more wood. Probably broke that.
Wow.
What's that look like?
What do you have in there, Lise?
Breadfruit bowl.
Breadfruit bowl. Made properly.
In the jungle.
Right. Those peppers are hot, by the way. 5 to 1 kids.
Lise, what was one of your highlights from that hike?
I love the whole roasting breadfruit process, but the view from the top overlooking the whole East Coast was probably my favorite of the whole hike.
And that's where you start, and you end up spending a bit of time up there just looking at it, enjoying it. But you don't want to go out on the hike too late because it takes you a while to get down and it takes you a while to get back up and going through. So the sun is your friend, let's just put it that way. Like,
Yeah,
you don't
it's
want to be
real
out there.
dark, real quick.
It can darken up pretty fast out there. So we were coming out of the forest at sunset, thankfully, but straight drop, huh?
About 80 or 90 feet down.
Well,
Right here, right? Straight down.
Hey, y'all learned any geography about Barbados before? Well, let me tell you quick, you know.
that's serious. That's a macaw palm right there. You don't want to touch that.
Right up there, if you never fit to walk through the jungle.
Now we're getting into the thick of the undercliff woods. You're starting to see the really giant trees, you know? You see like stuff like this with the huge like buckshot trees, right? So yeah, those roots would have been like, you know, underground and all the soil gets eroded and they keep on like.
Look how strong they are now.
What do we got here, Zach?
So this is a soldier crab, or well, we call it a soldier crab in Barbados, but it's more commonly known as the West Indian, like hermit crab. And this is the West Indian top snail shell. This is what they usually come in. But due to overfishing, you don't get these shells big anymore. So you're finding that the hermit crabs are using giant African snails, an invasive species.
Rocks, I think they're going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Might go to take her, no?
Yeah, so yeah, she would have just come from dumping her eggs in the ocean at this time of year after summer.
All this was underwater.
All this used to live under the sea at some point. Not the trees, of course, but the rocks, because that's what the whole island is.
A herb for any blood issues.
Dog's blood.
It's called dog's blood.
And this is a native Barbadian plant, Derek?
Well, I'm not sure if who originated where and when
Yeah.
and how. You know, seeds float
Yeah.
in and they arrive on attached to the pelts of different creatures.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not sure about indigenous because it's spread across the region.
Honestly, since the St. Vincent volcanic eruption, we've had birds come over here and
That didn't used to be.
That didn't used to come over. Now they're bringing the seeds with them.
Yeah.
Things are back as well.
I saw the pelicans over by La Cabane the other day. I was
They're
blown
back,
away.
yeah. They were here originally, but then they disappeared and now they're back again.
I saw two flying and I said,
Noise! I don't like this thing. I don't like. Listen.
we heard it.
It's farting.
It's farting on you, Kira.
But yeah, as you can see, that shell is a giant African snail shell.
And the whole experience took about 4 hours. So it's a full excursion, and you will sleep very well that night. Let's just put it that way. You'll have an amazing meal with the breadfruit, but the time when we hiked to the floor and we were doing the breadfruit, that was we probably had over an hour down on the floor making the actual fire and going through that. Now Hackleton's Giants, that was a little bit different. Wild Barbados has other hikes that are not quite as intensive as that, and then they have ones that are more intense than that. They have Chalky Mount Light. Chalky Mount is a well-known peak here in Barbados, which we have not yet done. We'll get a video together when we do that. So there's a milder one for the kids, and there's one that's like a 5 to 6 hour hike that's really, really strenuous that Zach and the Wild Barbados crew do. There's also one at Bath Beach that is done. And these are not just hikes. You're going to learn a lot about culture, about the plants, about what's natural, what isn't, what was brought over, about the Amerindians that were here. And God, it was so rich. It was, I mean, having the kids, and we were split and spread a little bit more. We didn't get as deep into that as Zach normally would on those, but the kids had a blast.
And the kids ran away from the parents.
Thankfully, they didn't run too far.
You can't run too far in that.
Because there was a lot of there was a tour guide with us that just stayed with us the entire time.
Yeah, Sky kind of kept his eye with you because we didn't really want them to get too far away because, as we mentioned, it's a forest and it gets pretty, well, not a forest, it's jungle more, and it's gets pretty thick, and you can take different trails and whatnot. Definitely an exercise in patience, because there was times you weren't moving real fast going through and going down through different areas.
Well, and it had rained too, so it had rained that morning, so
Yeah.
there were parts where it was quite muddy.
And thankfully it didn't rain on the hike, because we were like, if it rained during this hike, this would get really, it would have been a trip. to
Yeah,
kinda
it
go
was
through.
also really fun because we went with our friend. And then we all were up like in the front.
You guys like having your independence, right?
Yeah, while we were waiting to go, we found something. There's this palm tree, 2 of them, or coconut trees, and there was this little thing behind it. There were bushes, and then behind the bushes it opened up to a trail, so we explored that trail by ourselves, and then we saw like trash down there, and then we came back up because then we heard that it's time to go to the hike, and then we entered the hike.
So, a couple of tips for you for this hike. Number 1, get in touch with Wild Barbados. They're your best way to go through and have these hikes and have this experience in going through. Be prepared if you're doing some of the more intensive hikes. So when I say be prepared, like wearing long pants
And socks.
and long sleeve shirts, probably not a bad idea. Make sure you have water, sunscreen, bug repellent. They're out there, and there are different elements that there are some of the palm trees. They had kind of like spikes on them.
They're like needles.
Yeah, they had needles, and they teach you all these things, what to watch for, but occasionally you're moving through and just some of the plants might graze you in different pieces. So you definitely want water, bug repellent, sunscreen. Hats are very, very good. You can take a snack as well. And again, you're not going to find, the forest is your restroom. So that's what we'll say. Ladies and gents, you need to plan accordingly and be comfortable with that whole process if you need to, because you're going to be out there for a while and going through. But going with the group is fantastic. Doesn't need to be a big group. He does a great job of taking small crews out there. And like we said, if you're looking for something a little bit more mellow, the Bath Beach one is a little bit more mellow. It's along the coast. It'll give you some history, and I think Sky actually is dropped at the end, so he's actually preparing the breadfruit and whatnot. So I think that one's only a 2 to 3 hour excursion and hike, but you will have a little bit more sun exposure on that side, and that's on the East Coast of Barbados.
But then you do end up in a little fishing village with beer and rum punch.
Yeah, you'll end up at the fishing village, beer, rum
The
punch,
important stuff.
rum shop, so you get to have more of an authentic experience, but the wilder side of Barbados is worth exploring. You know, it's lovely seeing the manicured beaches where everybody goes through. They even have what's called the tourist tree. Lisa will drop a clip of that in here, and they'll explain to you why it's called the tourist tree.
Yeah, this is
Derek is showing us, what's this called, Zach, this tree?
They call it the tourist tree
Why is this called the tourist tree, Zach?
because its skin is orange and it's peeling.
What we
You
call
know
it?
what I'm saying? They call it the tourist tree, they call it a gumbo limbo.
We call it a gum tree.
Yeah, it's a gum tree, so they also call it a
When you
birch
cut
gum.
it, you feed it.
Yeah.
So it's a gum tree, but they call it birch gum because like birch has the papery bark.
Yeah.
But you make frankincense out of this. So it's a very resinous, sweet-smelling wood. Yeah.
Really? But you see the postcards and all of the beautiful blue waters, and that's beautiful and that's amazing. But if you really want to experience Barbados, make sure you step into some of the wilder portions of it. There's so much beauty on this island that goes above and beyond just the sea. I mean, and believe me, this is coming from somebody who could live in the sea. I just spent 2 hours today riding waves, so it was amazing. Truly wild Barbados. Really in the bush and everything. I think we did it.
All right, congrats, guys. Woo!
Just finished up Hackleton's Giants with Wild Barbados, man. This is where we end, but wow. Check this out.
The sun is poking out too.
We highly recommend Wild Barbados. So check them out. We'll leave a link in the description box of how to get in contact with them if you guys are interested.
Absolutely. Take care, everybody.
Bye.